Hello and welcome back to another Understand Your Buy video. In this video, we're looking at the concept of read, write, speak, and spell. So what is it? What's the importance of this? Well, when it comes to naming your business, product, or service, it's important that the name you use is easy to read, write, speak, and spell. And this is important mostly because of the fact that you're talking to people. You want them to remember what you're telling them. You want them to interact with you. You want them to be able to connect with your business, product, or service name. So if the name isn't easy to read or write or speak or spell, it's a potential barrier. And from my experience, it's one that's best avoided. So how does it work? Well, it works because every part of your communication needs to be mindful of, first of all, the attention span of your buyer and also their average reading age. The average reading age of an adult in the UK at the time of recording this is approximately 9 years of age. That's not necessarily good or a bad thing, but it's a reality. So we have to work with that and we have to be mindful of that. So whilst we might have an avatar or an understanding of who we're selling to, and what they should know, it's important that we simplify communication so anyone can understand it. It means no jargon, no assumption, and no excuses. And it also means using the most basic, simplest language possible to get your point across. So how can you use it? Well, to ensure that your name is as clear as possible, we simply need to adhere to that following criteria: read, write, speak, and spell. So in terms of making it easy to read, we have to recognize that the average reading age of the people you're dealing with is probably a lot lower than you might think. So we need to be mindful of syllable count, character count, and any of those kind of issues are going to make it much, much harder for somebody to read. Then we move on to write. So again, reading and writing, pretty much the same thing. So fewer syllables, simpler concepts, smaller words, more basic language. That's going to help us. When it comes to being easy to speak, this is something that's interesting. So it comes down to pronunciation. So something might be simple to spell, but can you actually speak it? And there's certain brand names out there in the world, like, is it Hermes or Hermes, etc., etc. There's lots of different brand names where we kind of flinch. We're like, not really sure how we pronounce that. So it might seem obvious, but how you pronounce it, and it's important to be mindful of that when you're naming your business, product, or service. Is it easy to speak? And the final thing there is it easy to spell? So avoiding hard to spell words, where we have unusual characters in them, like Z's or Q's or things like that. Anything where, again, somebody's going to flinch when they're trying to spell it. The word fuchsia, for example, for a plant, it's one of those words where we kind of flinch and think, oh, actually, how do we spell that? Or the word diarrhea. Now, I don't know why you'd be calling your business, product, or service including the word diarrhea, but bear with me. But we'd flinch before trying to spell that word, and that's the point. So any of these things represent a barrier to your buyer recalling you, connecting with you, and ultimately buying from you. So that's the concept of read, write, speak, and spell. When you name a business, product, or service in particular, it needs to be easy to read, write, speak, and spell, and to have all of those things in place for it to really work for you commercially.
Well, that's it for another Understand Your Buyer video. And if you like this kind of stuff, then you'll definitely like the book, which you can buy at understandyourbuyer.com.